And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This presentation is sponsored by the North American Simulation and Gaming Association, also known as NASAGA. I am Becky Reese, the chair of the NASAGA board, and I want to express a huge thanks to Jaga, wave your hand Jaga, who is a member of our board and who organized the session. He's also providing the tech support. Jaga lives in Malaysia, as some of you know, and I believe we have a good showing from there today. As you can tell, despite our name, we do not limit ourselves to North America. In fact, our online conference this year will include tracks for Malaysian and European time zones, as well as those in the continental US. So we hope all of you will join us to participate between October 17th and 30th for the NASAGA conference. And now I want to introduce our topic and speaker for today, John Chen. John is a longtime NASAGAN and was the organizer and host for an outstanding NASAGA conference in 2015 in Seattle, Washington. John is an adventurous leader whose extreme sporting interests and early career experiences in technology and team building led him to become the CEO of GeoTeaming, where the idea of geocaching and team building came together to generate life-changing, memorable development experiences for leaders. John is an accomplished author and an expert in building teams. He joins us today to share his ideas on creating better engagements in virtual learning space, including ways to make online learning engaging. And counter to NASAGA's usual policy, we have authorized him to promote his recent book, which is very relevant to this topic at the end of the presentation. So welcome, John. We are thrilled to have this opportunity to learn from you.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Becky. Thank you, everybody. So, yeah, for those who don't know, if you wanted to do applause, this is sign language for applause. So everyone raise your hands up next to your head and then shake your hands. There you go. That's applause. So if you're on mute, like we have to spend a lot of time on mute here in what I affectionately call Coronaville, yeah, sometimes it's nice to know how to applaud for other people. Okay, excellent. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do this. My name, of course, is John Chen. I'm the CEO for GeoTeaming. I've been a long-time NASAGA member and fan and co-convener. And I got to tell this story before I start, right? Who else got me into this? I know there's a collection of people, but our good friend Tiagi is one of those who got me here, right? Yeah, the applause for Tiagi. And he said out of all the conferences, we met at a lot of different conferences, ATD, Training Magazine. He had a booth there. He spoke at all the conferences, right? He's still speaking at all the conferences. But he was the one, and he goes, John. I said, yes, Tiagi. And he goes, this is one conference that you need to go to. And I'm like, okay, but you know, will I get any business out of it? And he goes, listen, John, in typical Tiagi fashion, he goes, all those other conferences are pretty good for at least for Tiagi, the Tiagi group. But NASAGA is the one conference I go for me. And so I hope that's the spirit of NASAGA that we're bringing here. Now I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Sager, and he's going to deliver the next 54 minutes. No, just kidding. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. All right, here we go. So now we're in engaging virtual meetings one. So I hope Jaga is simplified Mandarin okay for you? Is that right?
No, I don't read Mandarin.
Oh, do I need another language, or should I just use English today?
English will be fine.
Okay. So here, I'll change this. So for those of you who want to figure out what I'm doing, this is built into PowerPoint. It will do live transcription for you. Okay, great. So you're in engaging virtual meetings one. I'm going to start off with an immediate piece of value. How many of you have used side-by-side mode? Raise your hand. I'm going to peek at my other monitor here. Raise your hand. Thank you, Lisa. I see you. Yes, so side-by-side mode. For those of you who don't know what this is, go to View Options side-by-side mode, and especially if you are a presenter, you want to know about this feature because when you share the slide, you become very teeny, right? Less than the 64th of the size. But a lot of times as we're presenters, we would love to have the same presence. And so you can advise your audience here to do this. And so if you go in side-by-side move, especially if you have one screen, you can grab the slider bar and move it left to the right, and you can actually change the side of the slides and change the size of all the people on here. So this is a great tip to give to your audiences. I've actually given it in chat to many other groups where I was just a guest and people were like, oh, I'm so cool. I'm so thankful for this. Okay, great. So side-by-side mode. Next, you're here because of this. How many of you have had these challenges? So just look on the screen. If you had one, raise your hand. If you're not on screen, you can chat it, wacky backgrounds, pets, kids. Yes, okay, Lisa's got one, definitely. So Gila's got, Daryl's got one. Gila is laughing. So, but yeah, the key here challenge is that attendees are not engaged. So the solution we've come up with this is the word engage. And this is a 6-letter acronym with every letter means something is one of the 6 steps to help your meetings be engaging. So, of course, the first letter is E, and that stands for engage. And so this is recursive, meaning if you want engagement in your virtual meetings, you need to engage, right? So as you've already seen, those who showed up a little early, right? Becky and I have got a chance to talk. Peter and I got a chance to talk, right? And it's you actually reaching out and engage as the first thing, especially as you get greeted. I mean, sometimes these video meetings, you drop into them like you're teleporting and you just don't know what you're going to teleport to each time. So E is engage and interact with every attendee. Have a plan to do so in your meeting, if at all possible. So the next is the overwhelmed host. So as a presenter, if you're trying to do everything, especially if you were not adept at virtual, it could become very overwhelming. I have a friend, and she started running her own Zoom meetings, and she started doing this. She wrote the marketing, she wrote the registration, she set up her Zoom room, she ran her own security, she kept track of engaging with every person, she recorded and streamed to Facebook Live, she shared her own slide deck, she chatted to all the attendees, she set up and ran the breakout room, she ended the meeting on a high note, and then she uploaded to YouTube. Guess what she was at the end? Raise your hand if you think you know the answer. Anyone? Bueller? Okay, Lisa, what do you think the answer? What did she feel like at the end?
Her brain was fried.
A fried egg. This is your brain on Zoom. Okay, so our solution to this is this. N in engage stands for never lead a meeting alone. Never lead a meeting alone. If you're primarily on Zoom, you can take the shortcut version we like, never Zoom alone. And so everyone can now say, wave, hi Zoe. And those are actually, I would love for you to chat in the hi Zoe, and you can also, if we didn't get a chance to engage you, chat and say where you're calling in from, right? And so having somebody else can really help our meeting. So by having Zoe here, it allows me as the presenter to spend more time focused on you. And of course, you can chat any questions or comments at any time. So for instance, if my mic doesn't sound right, my camera is messed up on your side and I can't tell, just ask Zoe and Zoe will make sure she can notify me. I have this great solution that a great result that somebody got. She had a BNI, a Business Network International meeting, and she had this problem where the last 6 meetings were running too long. And so she asked me, and they cut out 16 minutes of valuable content, and they still couldn't make it. So after using these techniques, she came in here and she used this one tip, never lead a meeting alone. She got 2 people to really help her. And what that did was that she was able to get her meeting to end on time, and she was able to get that 16 minutes of content back in. Remember, these are paid members for the group to share referrals with each other, and the group hasn't been happier since. So never lead a meeting alone. Okay, so the next problem is this, bad backgrounds, right? Too close, too far, too high, too low, frozen, not frozen, right? Like frozen, like it sounds like the musical. And of course, our friends with the bad virtual backgrounds, right? It's like we need to buy a green screen. So our solution for this is G is good looks. So did you know, 60 to 65% of all the communication that we have is body language. In addition to that, we have this quote, and the quote is, the background of our video conferences is key to the image that we present of ourselves. Again, the background of our video conferences is key to the image that we present of ourselves. So, excellent. There we go. Donna, I also empowered you a little bit, so you can help Zoe out. Thank you so much. All right, so the next problem is people talking over each other, right? Until this technology gets better, when you have 2 people, where we can actually talk and have multiple people understood each other. And I think it's going to come, but it's not here yet. So again, let's just say if Paula and Glenda are having a sidebar, they're like, wow, we should really be playing Cards of Humanity now, right? So if you have a sidebar like that here on a video meeting, what happens is that you're as loud as me, as the keynote speaker. And so, of course, it can be very disruptive to the meeting. So that's the key or the challenges that we have. And so one of the solutions for this is the A, in Engage is for air traffic control. Again, air traffic control. So in air traffic control is that you need to be able to, well, this is a video. Hold on, let me get my video to run. There we go. This is a video of at least the United States in the peak of air travel. And over 5,000 flights. 5,000 flights are flying simultaneously. And of course, none of them crash into each other. And why is that? Because they have air traffic control. So you should want to treat your audio channel in your meetings like that, air traffic control. And so see if we can prevent collisions and prevent any external noise or other things like that. So, so that's air traffic control. We're moving on to our next challenge. The next challenge is getting work done online. So as much fun as NASAGA is, and as much fun as meeting virtually is, we still have to meet, and we got to get work done. And so from the technical problems of somebody forgetting to unmute or doesn't know how to share their screen to, getting real work done, working on documents and spreadsheets and making decisions, our solution for this, the G in Engage, is get productive with virtual tools. Again, get productive with virtual tools. So we're going to show you a couple of virtual tools to get some work done. And so did you also know that virtual meetings take 66% less time and they cost 85% less? And most of all, they're coronavirus free. So I can't come here and infect Malaysia, right, Jaga? This meeting is always going to be 100% coronavirus free. Hi, Carl. Glad you could join us. Thank you so much. All right, so moving on. The last letter here is for Zoom fatigue. So has anybody had Zoom fatigue? Anyone? So Lisa, yes. Sherry, yes. Glenda. So in the chat room, type a number. Type a number that is the maximum number of hours you Zoomed in a day. And so mine is 14, and I don't recommend that, by the way, but I had to do it. And it's possible, but there's also other times. I had a 2-hour meeting on a different platform. It was very, very intense. And after those 2 hours, I literally passed out because it was so intense. So we did that, and I looked at some of the reasons why, and here are some of the reasons why that I found that people are getting Zoom fatigue. Number one is you got to pay attention in a completely different way. All of us have been born and raised and been practicing nearly since birth about how to have face-to-face meetings. But if you've not spent a lot of time on these video platforms and figuring out where to look and all the different things that are happening on there, then you don't have the muscles to do it. And so for those of you who we haven't worked out in a little while, if you try and work out and you haven't worked out for a while, you're wiped out, you're tired. And so Zoom is like that too, or all your video videos are like that too. So unless you've been practicing and having these muscles, you just need to know that you're starting to develop them. And for those, have probably got a lot of workout in the last couple of months. Okay, so that's one. The second one is, if your meeting has Lisa picked it up. Thank you, Lisa. Good job. And so that's if your meeting has technical problems, right? Just even like anything here, the background noise or me freezing, or I know that Peter's in Malaysia and the data's got to travel a long ways. And so if your meeting has problems, you have to work a lot harder to try and understand and be engaged in the meeting. And that's the next thing that takes extra energy. And last but not least, if you're not engaged, it just takes more energy to be present. All right. And so I know you've been on those programs, and most of us start multitasking, but if you're really trying to pay attention, it just takes a lot of energy, and if it's not engaging. So if I talk this way for a whole 60 minutes, you might start to get very tired with that. And so I'm not going to do that, but that's one of the reasons why I've seen the solution that we have is end your meeting on a high note. Again, end your meeting on a high note. So those are the solutions that we have now. Where are we at? 37. Fantastic. Okay, great. So I'm going to establish a speaking rule. Let me check how many leaders that I have. I have a window hidden back here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you a speaking rule. We're actually going to move into breakout rooms. Let's see, we have 5 rooms that we're going to use today. And so let's just see. Visually, everyone who's on camera, please raise your hands. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Wow, everybody. Okay, good. So if you want to talk, raise your hand. If you are not on camera, unmute and say your name, or go to the participants window and find out where the raise hand button is. Okay. So each of the groups is going to have a leader. I'll tell you who that is. And if if 2 or more people raise their hand at the same time, please acknowledge both of them and then establish an order. So for instance, if Peter and Jaga raise their hand at the same time, I'd say, oh, okay, we'll have Peter and then Jaga, and then allow people to have that air traffic control. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do something like this. We're going to have everyone introduce themselves in your room, your name, your location, and one problem you're having with virtual meetings. Your name, your location, and a challenge you're having with virtual meetings. Now, so I'm going to stick you in rooms 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Excellent. So in the first room is Zoe. Zoe, raise your hand. That Zoe will be your guide. And Zoe, let's see, 38 divided by 5. 8. Okay, great. So Zoe, I'm going to put 8 people inside, or 7 people inside your room. So let me assign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the next leader is going to be Jega, our amazing leader. Jega, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate that. Let's see. There we go, Jega. And I'm going to put 7 people in your room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jega, while we're doing this, sorry, go ahead, Zoe.
Oh, I just admitted one more person.
Perfect. That's right. I'll take care of all the admitted people. So Jega, while we're doing this, you've been through my class. So while I've set up these last 2 breakout rooms, do you want to add anything that you learned from that class?
Yeah, thanks, John. Well, I went through John's engaging virtual meeting program, the first one at least. So what I found from that is that you don't really have to have too much of thrill in trying to make your meeting very engaging. A lot of tools that are already readily available, you could actually quickly use them and still can have a very engaging meeting. So, and there are so many games that you could use just using chat box and chat screen and all, and I found that to be very useful. Thanks, John, for that.
Excellent. Almost there. And need to add a room. Oh, yes. Wait. No, we don't need to add a room. Donna, you're 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah. Okay, perfect. So, and then Donna will be one of our guests here. Zoe, do you have one more thing to add about what you learned about air traffic control?
You can be quick. You can, if you time it and give everyone, just simplify it, and everyone's engaged, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time.
Excellent. Oh, let's do this. Okay, perfect. So we're going to do this. Zoe is in 1, Jega is in 2. Peter, you're in 3. Becky, you're in 4. Donna, you're in 5. You'll have a maximum of 10 minutes. I'll send you some notes about that. And again, if you're done early, go ahead and engage in a little extra conversation so we get a chance to network with each other. Here we go. 10 minutes begins now.
Hi. Hi, Brian. Nice to have you in the same room.
Brian.
Yeah, hi, folks.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. Wait. Hey, Jega. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. You guys seem to be doing fabulous things out there. With
All right. Thank you.
I like the way you stand up and present.
Oh, okay.
I think that's really smart.
Yeah, it just puts you in a better state, better energy level.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so let's do that. What we are going to do is just introduce our name, location, and the challenge we have with running virtual meetings or workshops or trainings. So let's give that liberty to the Brian Remmer to go first. I just
Okay, sure. Okay, sure. My name is Brian Reamer. I'm from southern part of Vermont in the U.S. And I guess one of the big challenges I have, there are quite a lot. I guess the biggest one is my organization is using Microsoft Teams, which is not really designed for learning and for teaching. And so it doesn't have the simple things like breakout rooms. We have to do all sorts of manipulations and gymnastics electronically in order to do just a simple thing like a breakout room like we're in right now. And so the workarounds have been challenging, and it's kind of good to be inventive that way, but I just wish we would have a system that was built to be for training and for teaching.
Right. Okay. Okay, I'll go next. My name is Jagadiswaran Manoharan is full name. Jega would do. From Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And what my challenge is similar to what Brian said, because some of the organization here ban the use of Zoom. And not only Zoom, but we want to use certain collaborative tools like Google Sheets or what. And some of the organizations have restriction on shared drives. So even when we create certain games on Excel like kind of space, but when we want to share it, we can't share it because the internal Wi-Fi does not allow us to do that. So like what Brian said, we got to find ways to work around, including asking them to use their own mobile data if they are willing to. So that's my challenge. Okay. Chris, you want to go next, Chris?
Sure, thanks. I feel your pain in both cases, particularly with Brian. My wife, Becky, does online learning for a hospital system. And although she's got WebEx Training Center, the IT people are trying to force her to use Microsoft Teams. Having said that, I'm Chris Sager. I live in Roanoke, Virginia, and I used to be the volunteer executive director of NASAGA way once upon a time. The issue that I have is, so at the moment, what I'm doing is teaching Tai Chi online and from my home. And my issue is largely, I guess it's somewhat technology related. So I'm looking for clues about a webcam that has a wide shot so that I can move, and also just sort of how to arrange my little tiny house in a way that works on on Zoom or any kind of streaming service. So those are the things. I also have one other Zoom related question, which is I can never figure out, sometimes when I do this, you see my name. Sometimes when I do it, you see my avatar, my photograph, but I can never figure out, is it on or not when I'm joining a meeting?
It's a switch. It's not in your control sometimes, Chris.
Ah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. Good to see you. Remember, you have 5.5 minutes, so make sure and allow enough time, Jega, to get everyone through, please.
Right, let's move on. Who else? Anyone? Just raise your hand and start. Okay, Carl.
Yeah, hi, my name is Carl Herzog. I am the public historian for the USS Constitution Museum in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh.
For those of you who might not be from our neck of the woods, USS Constitution is a 1700s era U.S. sailing warship, one of the first in the U.S. Navy. And we operate a nonprofit museum attached to the ship, which is still operated by the Navy. As a result of the virus, all of our visitation has shut down, and we have made a concerted effort to move everything that we do, including all of our educational programming and public programming, online. So, like Chris was saying, some of the challenges I've got as a historian doing these videos is finding a backdrop that that fits in my tiny cottage on Cape Cod where I live. But we're also addressing a lot of the Zoom fatigue, particularly among parents and kids who we're still trying to provide educational outreach to, but really do stuff that meets their needs. And the parents are worn out.
Right. Okay, great. Let's move on to Daryl. You want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Daryl Cole. I'm a serious play facilitator. I live in Winnipeg, Canada. So for my American friends, we are just above North Dakota. So my big challenge recently, I've just done a couple of workshops online, and it's people who are not particularly comfortable being in a Zoom or internet format. So, you know, they've left sound on, there's all sorts of like stuff going on because they don't know how to control mutes or do anything. They've set up their computer. I know, Carl, you made a gesture to your window. So I was with someone, just one of the participants, and she had the window right behind her.
Oh,
And it looked like she was a divine entity. Like you couldn't see anything about her, just glow. So, you know, when you get all those things cobbled together, it really wears a workshop out, right? Because you're
right.
constantly trying to intervene and help a person like go along. So that's it for me.
Right. Thanks, Darren. Next, we have Connie and Brittany. We can't see your video, so you would like to. I think Connie is unmuted. Connie, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm here from Pennsylvania in the United States, and my situation is a little bit different. I'm a domestic violence, sexual violence prevention educator, and we, of course, because of coronavirus, our schools are going to be closed, and we are just at the very beginning stages of learning how to present educational programs online. So I'm very much a newbie, very much a beginner. And you can see I don't even have a webcam on they got me a new computer. It doesn't have a webcam. I'm working from home. I don't have access to webcam. We'll have to remedy that at some point. And I also work with people who have developmental disabilities, so autism and intellectual disabilities. So I'm looking for activities to build into this training that we're going to have to develop from scratch because it's all very new to us.
Right, right. Okay. Thank you, Connie. Last one, Brittany.
Yeah, hi. I'm the Learning Technologies Librarian at Towson University in Maryland, USA. And I would say my biggest challenge at the moment is learning and teaching others how to use various enterprise video conferencing platforms. So my institution has subscriptions with Zoom, WebEx, and Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. But we also use Google Meet because it's the only platform, to my knowledge, that offers free real-time captions. And so it's learning the ins and outs of, you know, instructional capabilities with all the platforms and trying to help others feel confident in using them with learners.
Right. Okay. I think we will be done in about 40 seconds. So anyone else have anything to share before we go back in about 40 seconds? Yes, Carl.
Yeah, Jay, I just thought I'd mention too, you know, one of the things that drew me to this tonight, as well as like my colleague, Emily Bryant, was that, you know, we're both very interested in the use of games. We're both new to NASAGA, but very interested in the use of games in educational work within the museum sphere. And that's another element that we are working hard to try and figure out how to bring more.
Okay.
That's a lot of people. Oh yeah, so we should probably show you this one game. We're in NASAGA. We should play a game. Does everyone want to play a game? Yes? That's excellent. So let's do this first. If you got a chance to introduce yourself, let's just say applause to our leaders. So thank you very much to our leaders, our volunteer leaders for this group. Okay, we're going to play a game. So this game is called, oh geez, what is it called? Oh, Strike the Pose. So maybe some of you know Madonna's music, right? So does anybody remember what this song was called?
Vogue.
Yeah, Vogue. Thank you, Kathleen. 10,000 points to Kathleen. Okay, next time when we come back from the breakout room, I want everyone to strike the pose. So you make some unusual or pose when you come back from the breakout rooms. And why is it funny? Because when like 25 or more screens come like this, it's like everybody's in this crazy position. So on 3, let's try it out just once. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I love the blue moon. The blue moon is the best. I love these glasses. Excellent.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. Yeah, so we need to play. Okay, so next time we come back from a breakout room, remember, strike the pose. Okay, great. So I hope you enjoyed that time to get to networker, but this is really what's key. When I have these meetings, I'm looking for different strategies to engage everybody. And that's where I think breakouts I've really described as the third most powerful engagement tool, because it completely changes the dynamics of engagement. So while it might be difficult, for people to engage when there's, let's see, what's the number right now? I close my, 35. Okay, so there's 35 of us here. It's hard to do one-on-one, but in a smaller group, the dynamics change. And I think I saw some people who didn't have their cameras on. Sometimes they turn them on for that short period of time when they can engage like that. And sometimes they need to have their camera off, and that's okay. But that's what I've really seen. And that's having a strategy to engage everyone makes this meeting more engaging. Imagine that. So let's continue on. I'm going to teach a few more things as we go along here. So again, you got a chance to see air traffic control and engage and interact with every attendee and see how that works and how it is engaging. What I love about this program too is that it really gets a chance for you to experience that. Now, let's just see. Let me open my video window just a little bit more so I can see everyone. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is go through this point called good looks. So in good looks, it goes with this. This person here had a not very good backdrop. So if you can kind of see the office in the back, they had these shades. His desk was turned 180 degrees the other way. So basically his camera was pointing into the light. And for those who know anything about cameras, when you point into the light, he basically became a silhouette. And it's very hard to read your facial expressions when you become, a black silhouette. Also, we had two very nice lace curtains that his wife had chosen, but that really didn't make to his profession and help him in his job. So he saw one of my videos and he actually came up with this. So let's just see. Let's get a couple audience responses here. If you see something, let me know what it is and what it means to you. So just raise your hand, or again, I'm looking on the attendee list. You can also unmute and say your name. So who has something, an observation? Oh, okay, great. Let's go to Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. And we'll go to Gabrielle next.
So I see the books. So especially the one that's got piled highest, do one thing every day that scares you. So that's motivating, especially if we're going to be on video together and if my attendees are scared to talk on video.
Oh, good. So that's what it means to you, right? Excellent. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, let's go to Gabrielle Torres.
Hi. I'm just looking at the television in the back. You can see the windows and the blinds in it. I mean, It's got the data, but I mean, if you're a detailed person looking, it could be a distraction, like, oh, what's in that picture? Can I make it,
Yeah, excellent. So you see that? He'd probably do a little better closing his blinds. And this TV is actually active, so that is something that I also gave him a little feedback. But when you find out why he did it, it's good for his audience. Okay, great. So one other observation. Let's go to Sherry.
Yeah, I have no idea what that stuff is on the tray to his left.
Right here, right?
It looks like something edible, and it's distracting me.
Are you hungry, Sherry?
I'm always distracted by food.
Okay, I'll help you out with this. This is a chess set. It's made out of those like soapstone or something carved pieces. So now that you know that it's a chess set, Sherry, does that mean something to you? You have questions about it?
I wouldn't eat it.
Yes, you shouldn't eat it. Okay, well, let you decode this. Right, in good looks. There we go. I'll help decode this background. Right, this is a chess set. So it's to some people, I've heard them say, it says, "Oh, I think he's smart," or "He's strategic," or for us as Nasagians, you're a gamer, right? So like we have something in common. He's got his Rolex, his suit, no tie. He's clean shaven here too, so he's ready for business, right? It's business casual, but he's ready for business. This is C-SPAN in the background. So the TV is running C-SPAN and is running like it is live television, but the volume is down. Over here, he has books, which you saw. Some people also saw this book, Scaling Up. So if you are a entrepreneur, you might like this book, Scaling Up. There's a notepad and a phone, and then he has a paper journal here with a pen. And that's it. But here's the key to this background, why it's so unique. There's no hint of a computer. So one of the my friend at VP, he's the VP of virtual events at Microsoft, gave I think one of the best tips, and he says stop thinking thematically. So what I meant theatrically, which is like a three-dimensional space. He goes start thinking cinematically. Because we're all now about cameras and mics and things like that, look about how you can do that. So what he did to create this illusion is he put a desk in front of his desk, put his laptop on it, starts the meeting, and then so what happens is it looks like you're sat across from him in his office, and then he walks in from the side and sits down, and it's very much like walking in his office. So it's a very unique illusion in that way. And the other piece here, he can't touch his computer, but once you find out, he's a chief revenue officer. And he really is focused on relationships. He's meeting with Fortune 100s because he's selling to his consulting to Fortune 100 companies, and he's looking at the relationship. So he spends all this time talking, writing in here, and not on his computer. Also prevents him from being distracted. I know him, he's a little short attention like the rest of us. But this was a great way to do this. Again, this backdrop may not be right for you, but what it does say is think out of the box, right? What I love about NASAGA is all of you are people who are very creative. And if you think creatively about your background, you can do some things. In fact, actually, Zoe, if we get a chance, chat twitter.com/ratemyskyperoom. Rate my Skype room. They've been rating Skype rooms, I think 5 to 10 years now, and now they're rating Zoom rooms, and it's hilarious. They take a lot of very famous people and rate their rooms on a scale of -10 to 10. And if you watch 10 or 20 of them, you'll notice a trend and get ideas for how to improve your background. Meanwhile, let's go back to the chat room, and let's get productive with some virtual tools. So I'd love for you to chat an idea that that you can use to improve your background. Again, chat an idea to improve your background. In addition to that, after you're done with that, Zoe's going to chat my LinkedIn profile. So if we want to do a little bit of networking here, we could all meet each other. You can chat your LinkedIn profile, your website, anything else like that if you'd like to do that. And while you are chatting, I'm going to tell you why chat is so important. Chat, to me, is the second most engaging virtual tool. Right, and you should show people the chat window as soon as possible. Basically, after you get the audio video channel, you got everyone to introduce themselves and engage them. Show them the chat window. Now, why is the chat window so important? Well, one of the key pieces is that you can use it while I'm speaking. So here I am blabbing, using all the air traffic control. There's no space for you to get a word in edgewise. But instead, if you're having an idea, go to the chat room. And quite often, I hit the chat room in meetings that I go to. Even though they're not my meetings. And I find that I quite often network and find the greatest people in the chat room, and it's not the speaker, it's like other people who are in the meeting. And so also I think it helps in the styles. So for those who consider themselves an extrovert, instead of raising your hand 100 times trying to talk there, here you can just do it in the chat room, right? And it's really great as if you can see as a speaker the chat room moving on the side, you know that people are at least engaged or hopefully talking about the topics that you have. And the other part here is to help people the other style with introverts. So I've been doing team building now for 23 years, and introverts are getting inundated by audio and video and chat and everything, and sometimes that's a lot. But also I know in my experience in 23 years is that during team building initiatives, introverts quite often are the ones who get the right answer to the team building challenge. And that's because they're the only one who is listening. And so a well-placed chat from an introvert can change an entire meeting. And so for those who are introverts, if once you finally kind of get that aha moment, put it in the chat. And you'll be surprised that sometimes you can change a whole meeting with the right idea inside the chat room. Speaking of the chat room, we're going to chat 5 links. I think actually almost everybody has their links, so that's great. And I think those people are now allowed to share their screen. So we're going to do this. I'm going to show you how to use virtual tools to be productive and get productive with virtual tools. And so we're actually going to write a shared poem. Oh, now, so, I did this earlier. I actually worked with Toastmasters, and we made a speech. But today we're going to write a poem. And so the poem has these rules, right? Of course, if I'm going to give you rules of a poem, I'm going to have it in a poem. Rhyming is the name of the game. Don't forget to start each line with your name. Make sure everyone has a turn, and add as many lines as you can before you adjourn. Don't be shy, be proud. Pick a friend to read it aloud. So again, the poem must rhyme in some fashion. Start every line with your name so I know who wrote it. Make sure everyone in your group contributes at least 1 line. If you have additional time, you're going to add as many lines as you can before you adjourn. Also leaders of the group, there you're going to choose somebody from your team to read that. Somebody to read that. So I believe 5 leaders, please let me know if you need help with your link, but let me just check in right now. Hold on, let's see. Zoe, your link is good, correct? Jaga, I think is good. Peter is good. Becky, you have your link, yes? Good. And Donna, you have your link, correct? Donna, are you a yes? Yep. Okay. Excellent. You're on mute, but hopefully that's a yes. Okay, great. So I'm going to send you back to your breakout rooms, and you will have, let's see, what time is it? 4:40. You will have a total of 7 minutes to add as many lines as possible. 7 minutes. Okay, and remember, when we come back, Madonna's going to ask you to strike the pose. Okay, here we go. So back to your breakout rooms, and I'll see you after we're done. 3, 2, 1.
Right. Okay. Sorry, Carl, you got cut off just now. It was outside my control. Okay. Do you have the links already? Not yet. Okay, I'm gonna share the link here on the chat. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. You just click on that link. And can you see that document, engaging virtual meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we're going to be having to do right now. We're going to write a poem, and I've written one line there. So you're going to follow the same format, and we're going to see as many lines as we can add in this.
And are we writing in that document?
Yes, directly in this document.
So how do I do that? Because I'm clicking and I'm not able to type.
Okay.
You can click edit, Brian, I think. And so, Jaga, did you chat the link yet, or do you need me to do it?
Yeah, I've done it. Well, we are
Okay,
already
great.
on the document.
So
Okay.
sometimes, Brian,
There's
you need
a
to hit
blue
edit.
edit button up in the upper right-hand corner that'll allow
Yeah.
you to then put a cursor onto the page and edit it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So somebody to edit. Jaga, you're going to have somebody else share their screen?
Yes. I can share mine.
Okay, go ahead. And again, if you can't edit, you can chat Jaga a line and he can put it in. There we go. Jaga's editing. All right. 6 minutes remaining. Good luck.
Right. Okay. Brian, could you add?
Chris got one in here.
All right. If not, what you could do is you can put it in the chat box, and I can just copy paste it for you.
Okay.
I think my spelling is off.
Okay.
They spelled deliberate. Oh, nice, Connie.
I'm not sure how this.
Oh, come on. They're all the same rhyme, you guys.
Well,
Somebody started. That was the end of it.
Well, we can start one.
it seemed like the second one should rhyme, Brian. Now, after that, yes.
Well,
Okay, this is the next verse.
Quickly tip, tap, type. The next thing is sort of a. Oh, now we're.
Oh man, he took that word. 4 minutes ago.
Who are we missing?
I haven't been able to get mine to work.
Oh, you can't, but can you see it?
I can see it.
All right, what do? You just type it on the chat box and I'll just copy paste it for you.
Okay. Oh, I can't see it at all.
Why don't you just say it and Jagger can type it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, if I think of something, I'll put it down.
That's nice. My time zone is already gone.
Stumped it.
Oops, something went on. Sorry. Okay. Yes, we got probably about a minute or so.
Yeah, I don't see a contribution by Brittany. Oh, there it is. Sorry, Brittany. So I'll make sure to mute before I gripe.
Is that a new line, Brian? A new
But a new line?
I mean, the song. Is that a new rhyme?
Oh, it was supposed to rhyme with something further up the chain there, but.
Okay.
I cut him off.
I'll try to put it before we get pushed back to the main hall.
Oh, well.
It does. Okay, I guess we're gonna go back soon.
Oh, don't forget our pose.
Yeah, and
Oh,
who's
no.
gonna read it? Who's gonna read it? Daryl, would you be able to read it?
Yes, go Daryl.
Daryl, you're mute.
Sorry.
That's how he's getting out of reading it.
Read it when we go back?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, it won't be now. We have no time.
Yeah, and let's do the.
Okay, Brian, I might have one of the best poses. Kathleen drinking a beer is probably one of the best poses.
It's done.
Dead soldier, dead soldier, dead soldier. Okay, great. Let's see. Now, did you guys have fun with that? Yes?
Yes.
Sometimes challenging. So I got a chance to surf through the rooms. That's the fun part. Thank you, Gayla, for the thumbs up. So yeah, everyone can have a different experience, but I think one of the key parts is there. Let me just ask this: were you at least engaged the last 8 minutes? All right. So speaking of engagement, let's find what form of engagement that we have. All right, let's start with Zoe. Zoe, who's the reader for your team?
Me.
You?
Me.
Okay. Oh, me. I was like, me? Okay, me. So let's go. Let me see if I can find. Me. Okay, I see you. Ami, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go ahead and read your team's poem.
All right. So, Zoom meetings can be engaging and fun. To get there, you don't have to run. And it costs less money. It's super fun when the day is sunny. Hi, I'm Angeline and I'm very lean. In the comfort of your home, you can easily stay, yet sometimes it's boring, but you can spice it up with a little bit of play. While at home, you can play. Come on, everyone, what do you say?
Coronavirus. Oh, wait, excellent. Let's give a round of applause for team number 1, led by Zoe. Again, excellent. Thank you very much. All right, number 2 was led by Jega. Jega, who's going to be your reader?
Daryl Cole will be our reader.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who is that, Jega?
Daryl.
Oh, Daryl Cole. Okay, go ahead, Daryl.
Daryl, are you able to share the screen? Can you see the screen, Daryl?
We can, if you want. Anybody can share if you have the
Okay,
up.
I'll share it.
Jagger will share for you. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's play and collaborate. No time left to deliberate, so let's not all hesitate. Don't let us be late, this cannot be our fate. Quickly tip, tap, and type. Don't give up all the hype. Make sure to mute before you gripe. If all else fails, then use Skype. Share your ideas will delight. Can anybody see me in this backlight? Just please do not take all night. This poetry is really quite bright. My time zone is already gone. Let's reconnect in the dawn. Time to fix it with a little bit of brawn. Time to sing the last song. Does it look bad if I drink my coffee?
Let's give it up for team number 2, Jagga. You get bonus points for incorporating Skype into a Zoom call. Love it. All right. Let's go on to team number 3, Peter. Peter, who's going to be your reader?
Hi, I have Miss Glenda with me.
Excellent. And who's going to share the screen, Peter?
Okay. I'll do it then.
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, Glenda. All right, Glenda's doing it. Miss Glenda's doing it.
Glenda.
Gilda.
Oh,
Yep.
Gila?
Hi.
There we
Gila?
go. No, it's Glenda. Yeah.
Glenda.
Okay.
Glenda.
So we struggled a bit, as will be apparent, but here goes. Here's to more learning with NASAGA, engaging learning that makes you sing like Lady Gaga. With all our virtual strategies, we will MAGA. I feel like a singing frogga. While listening to music by Madonna, I dance around in multiple personas. I dance, I prance, I zance by night, and in the end, we are all right.
All right. Let's give Peter's team a round of applause. What is Zancing?
We were making up words at that point.
Brilliant. Brilliant. You know what, Glenda, what do you say you struggle? That sounds like a great childhood book, right? Like a great COVID childhood book. All right. 2 more to go. Let's go to Becky. Becky's team. Who's your reader? Becky, who's your reader?
Linda.
Linda. Are you ready, Linda?
I'm ready. Okay.
Go ahead.
So excited to have this happening for NASAGA today. I miss going to Montreal in Canada, eh? Can't wait until you all can come again and play. This is going to be a great Friday. I asked my district to buy us writing tablets. Hey! Leslie is a training fiend, tough but fair and never mean. From the classroom, she must be weaned, but real learning must be gleaned, and we're going to be so badass, it's obscene.
Ladies and gentlemen, team number 4.
That's probably the best one.
Becky's going to be a bad word soon, right? Shut your Becky. Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Love seeing the NASAGA creativity come through. Feel the energy out here. Last but not least, Team Donna. Who's reading for you, Donna?
I think I am. It's Sherry. We had a little technology trouble. So
yes, we did.
We're having trouble with this approach, but luckily we have a coach. I'm Rashmi, and we're in a room, and there's some trouble in the Zoom. I'm Susan. I'm in my favorite room. Play to learn, learn to play. Hopefully I'll remember how to do this another day.
Excellent. Let's give Donna and her team a round of applause. Excellent. All right. So let's close this. So we're almost to the end of our time, but hopefully, again, you've been engaged, that you're having fun here. More important, that you're learning something. So let's give you your last few tips that we have here today. So we got a chance to do a shared poem. And here's really one of the keys, is that never lead a meeting alone. It's not what you see sometimes. It's what you don't see. Zoe's working here in the background on a participation map. Anybody here ever use a participation map? Raise your hand. Anybody? Everyone's like, what is it? Yeah, I started using these during teleconferences calls 20 years ago because I recognized that, well, how am I going to be inclusive when I can't see anybody? So I took a participation map, and it could be as simple as writing people's names and writing checks mark to it, right? You can do it with paper, or like we have this. We have we have a spreadsheet where we can share different items in here and communicate information about people who might be talking too much or people who are not talking enough. And so using a participation map is a great tool that can help you identify these trends, but most importantly, how to make sure that you engage everyone before the end of a meeting. So the participation map. Okay, so we're heading into the final stretch here. So one of my goals, what I like to say at the beginning of this meeting, is that my challenge is I have to get 38 people to remember 6 acronyms or six things before the end of a meeting. So let's find out how much retention I have. Everyone can actually unmute unless you're in a very noisy environment. And so when you think you know the word, just shout it out. I actually like the fun answers too. Okay, so what does the letter E? What does the letter E mean in engaged? Okay, shout it out.
Engage.
Engage. Hey. Engage and interact with every attendee. What does the N stand for?
Never lead a meeting alone.
Lead a meeting alone.
Yeah, never lead a meeting alone. Oh, we have this new thing because somebody in our last meeting on Wednesday this week, they're like, I want my own Zoe. So that's never lead a meeting alone. Okay, what's the G? The first G stand for in engage.
Good looks.
That's right, good looks. Right, make sure you look good here online. What's the A stand for?
Air traffic control.
Traffic control. Don't crash up here. Make it nice and clean and clear. What's the last G stand for?
Getting productive with virtual tools.
Excellent. Get productive. I saw Mohammed did that too. Get productive with virtual tools. Last but not least, what's the E stand for?
And
I know.
It's either Lisa laughing or getting at the right answer, which is E. End your meeting on a high note. So speaking of getting on a high note, let me do these last pieces. You're now all graduates of Engaging Virtual Meetings 1, and we'd love to invite you to 2. And again, thank you for NASAGA for allowing me to do this. You're going to learn 10 new ways to make your virtual meetings engaging in just 60 minutes. You're going to learn the 3rd most powerful virtual tool. We'll talk about the best practices. Some of them we used here in the 3rd most powerful virtual meeting engagement tool. Last but not least, learn how to get those quiet attendees and everyone else to engage, right? And so normally it's $59.99, but Zoe's going to chat you a link. It's now only going to be $29.99, and it includes a copy of this book. It's going to come out in fall 2020, and when you buy this way, I'm actually going to hand sign it and send it to your house. All the shipping is included. So I hope to see you there. We have a class every Wednesday, and on the last Wednesday of the end of the month, we actually run it twice at 2 different times. So eventually we'll hit one of your time zones. Last, I'm going to show you the last productive tool. If you haven't learned how to save the chat, there's a lot of valuable information in here. You can click the chat, click the three dots, click Save Chat, and if you're one of those people, I don't know where that saved this file, make sure and click Show in Folder, and it'll show you exactly where that Save Chat is so you can do the networking. So the last piece that we're going to do to end our meeting on a high note, but actually end on time, is go to your chat window, and we'll do this last word, and it's what did you get from your investment in an hour today? What did you get from your investment in an hour today? Two things. I'm going to remind you, I'm going to hang out here for 30 minutes afterwards. So hopefully I get to answer some of the questions that I didn't get to cover today, or we can just hang out. It's so nice to be here in NASAGA and really get a chance to connect. But I want to again thank Jega and the entire team at NASAGA for having me here. It's such a pleasure to come back to NASAGA, and I hope I get a chance to see you next time. So again, thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it back to Becky. Becky, back to you.
So thank you very much, John, and I hope that you will put in a proposal for our conference. We're going to spread our times out, and you all, that goes for everybody. Please, we're accepting proposals through the 15th of August, so you can look on the webpage or in one of the recent or upcoming messages. We all depend on whatever is presented by NASAGANs to make it an excellent conference. And instead of doing it all compressed into just a couple days, this year we're going to spread it out so you can experience things, choose them. Many things will be recorded so you can watch them when it's good for you. Or if you want to watch something that happened in Malaysia while it was the middle of the night for you, you can watch it later. So we're really taking advantage of the opportunities that this online offering is gonna give us. So thanks very much, and as John said, people are welcome to stick around and chat with him a little bit, or thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you'll join us for the conference as well.
Excellent. Let's give a round of applause for Becky and NASAGA.
Yeah. I have to hop off because I have to go run games for my students, but I shared a link to my Google Drive folder that has a whole bunch of games that I have taken and put online in digital form. Some are tabletop games like Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective, Avalon, but they've all games that I've adapted to try to be for social purposes. There's some like bring your own book and stuff like that that you can use as icebreakers and stuff like that. If I have any of the documents that are editable, please don't mess with them, but make copies of everything because I'm going to unshare it tomorrow. So, yeah. So anyway, so this is, so, and if you like the games, buy them because support, creative people. But if anything else, if these are helpful for people, I'm happy to share. So I got to hop off. So thank you very much. This was great.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kathleen.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thanks, everybody.
Again, we'll give that invitation. If you need to go, if you're zoomed out, you are happy to log off at this stage. And again, if you'd like to stay, I'm here to answer and happy to answer any questions, or of course lead a little networking here. Could even do some extra breakout rooms if you'd like to. So, okay, great. So again, if for those who are still here, would like to stay, does anybody have any questions or comments? We'd love any commentary or questions from the group. If you do, again, raise your hand or just say your name.
I'm Gila, and I
Yes.
just wanted to know, I like the looks of your book, but I'm confused as to how to get a hold of it.
Yeah, right now there's two ways. One is you can actually, you get the seminar for free. So, because again, the book is going to come in the fall. So that link, for instance, you can sign up for the second level of this class, and then that will automatically get you the book. Or you can buy it through Amazon, or I really like this. There's I think it's called Goodreads, is a link that uses independent bookstores, and you can pre-order my book, and I'm going to get that. I think I actually have that link here handy. I'll get that for you.
Bookstore.org, maybe? I know what
yeah.
Goodreads is rating books. There's a... I know what you're talking.
Yeah, what's nice about it is, of course, it's a link, and again, independent bookstores are taking a big hit right now, and so if you are book people, which I know a lot of you are, and as a writer, as an author of a book, it's really nice to direct your funds to an independent bookstore as opposed to, of course, our good friends here at Amazon. Good. So does that help, Gila?
Yeah, where do I find information about the second level of your class?
I'll chat it again.
Yeah, so watch for the chat, and Zoe will put it there. And Gila, you can just reply as soon as you get it. Oh, good, you got it.
All right.
Yep.
And I also chatted a link to the Engaging Virtual Meetings Facebook group. I'd love to see all your lovely faces in that group.
Excellent. So she's right. We actually have a free Facebook group. I've got to look at the number, but I think we just crossed over 500. There's 500 amazing professionals all interested and sharing now. You know how, Facebook group that sometimes you're the only one who's posting? Now everybody's not only posting, they're asking questions, they're getting answers there. And I'm very happy to be the host of that group, but I'm also happy that it's now self-facilitating, and that is a wonder. It's a great resource. Lots of very, very smart and knowledgeable people there. Other comments, questions, concerns?
I don't see the link to the I don't see the link to the Facebook group.
It's right. It's the last comment.
Yeah, rechat it again. It's chatted together in 2 links, but it looks like 1, but it's 2. So Zoe, you might want to write a word and then rechat it, and then it'll be separated. Thank you, Connie. Hopefully, let me know when you see that.
John, I got a
Great,
question.
thanks.
Joe, go ahead, Jacob.
Okay, John, we are having situations here where, well, right now they're opening up to allow Zoom, but many of the corporates here sort of put a ban on Zoom, and they use MS Teams. And like what Brian shared in our breakout, it's such a clunky tool. I just want to know whether are we not using it properly, or do you have a tip on that?
Okay, the interesting part, thank you, Jacob, for that, especially for those. Let's just do a quick poll. If you need to use Teams, let's just raise your hand. So let's just see. 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 4. So you got to watch, and so as also if you're on the independent side, you got to watch Teams because it's growing. It's growing fast at a clip something like 30 to 40%. And so I've heard stories. So I used to work at Microsoft, for those who didn't hear that part of the beginning. And I just recently ran a 200-person conference on Teams. So I'm happy to share that experience here with NASAGA. In my book, I focused on Zoom and Teams because I believe those two, at least in the stats that I saw, are the 2 biggest platforms and have the 2 biggest potential. So Teams as a video conference is not as good as Zoom. And by the way, did you know that there's a Teams app that you can run Zoom inside of Teams? Yes, but if your company banned it, then it doesn't really matter. They're still using the video conference. So here's the lessons, and here's what's coming up. In the conferences, the max right now you can see is 9, and they are working on 49, and that should come out before the end of the year. They're also working on a unique 49 where they do this, where they're using virtual screens. They kind of figure out where you are, and they actually are cutting the rest of the background out and putting you in chairs. So instead of seeing the 40 or 50 windows that you might see in front of you now, you'll see us floating in like auditorium seats or in different setups like that. And somebody, said it kind of looked gimmicky, and after using it for a day or 2, he goes, it actually helped, right, in terms of the social dynamics of, trying to get meetings closer to what reality was. We have seen issues in Teams where like once 100 people had their video on, even if they weren't being displayed, the audio channel had a very hard time being understood. So that's why Teams quite often is a video off culture in some companies. And so that's something to look out for because, again, as you can tell, for those of us on Zoom here, it's really a big help. For me to see these body reactions, head nods, anything like that, is a big help when you're a facilitator and instructor. And if you don't have that on there, it's really hard to tell what's going on. Now, where does Teams excel? Well, its chat is, but I don't know why they spent all the money, but they have the most robust chat I've ever seen. You can put GIFs in there. We've had GIFs wars during the conference, and so while that might not be productive, it is kind of fun. What else is in there? I think the structure around the Teams is actually the most important thing. And what I mean by that is that when we planned and executed this whole conference, everyone had access to the stuff in the Zoom channel, as well as we had access to a back channel that was only that we had 36 people. Talk about never lead a meeting alone. We had 36 people working together with a private line of chat that we could keep track of everything that was going on. And so that's where I think Teams really excels because it's not just video. It's a work platform, and it can really accelerate work by putting stuff in one location and allowing people to collaborate. Jagga, can I share my biggest story from that conference? Okay, great. Thank you. So in this conference too, for those of you who haven't run a large conference, if you miss that buzz of running, a 200-person in-person conference, well, it's still here. Just run a 200-person live conference around there. And so here's what happened. There was a VP, a woman VP at Microsoft who's getting ready for a keynote. So 45 minutes to go. She's got her computer on. She's logged in. She's on fast internet. She's got her lighting here. She's got a brand new mic. She's ready to go. And we're here, in Redmond, and she's somewhere else. And all of a sudden, we see our icon on the list, and it goes boop. It disappeared. And we're in the back chat. We're like back channel chat. We're like, "What's going on?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm on it." So we actually had a person who was assigned as a speaker handler. So, whatever speaker's coming up, these two people like tag team and made sure that they were on, their video was good, that they could share. So anyways, she goes, "I'm on it." So she started talking. 10 minutes later, we get this. She goes, "Oh my gosh, you're never going to believe what happened." We're like, "Okay." She goes, she was there and she had the hard line to her power and her internet in her house cut. The entire neighborhood. And so she goes, "Now wait, it's not over. There's more." We're like, "There's more?" Yeah. She goes, "Oh yeah, she has terrible cell signal in her house, and her phone's almost out of battery, and she has no external batteries." So the speaker handler, after talking her off the ledge, finally got her, "Where's your charger?" She goes, "I got one in the car." So they got her into a car, plugged in her phone, right? And then finally she drove to a location that had high cell signal. Meanwhile, her other teammate on the company server pulled her PowerPoint so they could present, and she presented an entire 45 minutes in her car. She was ready to go with 6 minutes to go. Right. So that's the things, here in virtual, we have different challenges. You don't know what they are, but you need to be ready. And what was great is because we had a team together that was supporting that conference, we were able to save that section. There was nobody that could present that. They would have had to take a break in that conference for an hour, record it, and give it back later. And so that hard work for that group really helped out. Let's go to Carl.
Yeah, I had a very similar situation at a conference that I was attending. I'm in Boston, but the vast majority of them were in Washington, D.C. And in the midst of the conference, a horrible thunderstorm apparently rolled through Washington, D.C. and lightning blew out the power to half of the person who was presenting, as well as half the conference. Which leads to the question that I'm kind of terrified of that myself, and we're about to launch into, I'm a historian at a museum, and we're doing a panel discussion, and we've had a couple other similar Zoom webinars, with 50 to 100 attendees and a half a dozen participants. And we've been really good, like you're saying, about having someone in the background who's sort of juggling chat and some of the other things. But I guess I'm looking for ways to keep all those attendees engaged without the resources of a lot of, sub leaders and breakout rooms like you had tonight.
Yeah, what platform are you using, Carl?
So we've been doing this stuff on Zoom. We held a movie club on Zoom and showed, sections of a movie and discussed it. And we'll have a panel discussion with some policy experts and historians next month.
So I think I heard you.
Zoom webinar.
Zoom webinar. See, here's the key. So in Zoom webinar, there's two things that you can do. One is obviously the chat, right? Q&A and chat are like the key features inside of Zoom. And so just have chat monitors, right? So really actively engage people as they come in. You can see that as soon as we try and get in here, we're trying to figure out how can we touch people, whether it's chat or hello or something else like that. Though, even in webinar, though, did you know that you can promote people to panelists?
Yes.
Multiple people.
Yeah.
So multiple. One of my other good friends is a dance instructor, and we found out there's a dance group called Daybreakers. Has anybody heard of Daybreakers? Oh wow, Linda. Yeah, excellent. So Daybreakers they used to have these live morning dance parties, and you would dance before you go to work, right? And so when coronavirus hit, they were like, let's go online. So the last one we saw was sponsored by AARP. So I'm looking at the screen, like it's probably a bunch of us. And it was fantastic. 4,800 people on a Zoom webinar. With 300 people, they would promote guests to panelists and use them in the background so that you would see 49 people dancing as a background with the host. So they're mixing videos. And they went on and they had Debbie Allen from Fame teach a dance class. They had Jefferson Starship did a song, performed live, but from 5 different houses, and then they YMCA, the Village People performed live, right, on this thing, and it was amazing. And Gloria Gaynor closed it off with "I Will Survive." Anyways, that's the like king of engagement. If you want to see something, Carl, go look at Daybreakers. This is one of the things I've been doing as early as March. Is I've been going to a lot of other people's online things and finding out what works. This is a great tip for those, essentially those who are looking for touchstone moments in a program, right? We're looking for emotion or connection. One of the great things they do is they ask you to bring a picture of somebody that you would like to be with, but you can't because of coronavirus. And at one time, like 3/4 of the way through the dance party, almost for the end, you have all these people hold up all these pictures, and it's dogs, and it's pets, and it's moms, and it's dad, it's grandpas, and it's kids and grandkids, and inevitably, right, somebody starts crying during this thing because it's really amazing to see, like 2,000 or more people sharing all these things that they are missing. And so this is where we get our NASAGA hats on and think about, how do we gamify connection and how we gamify the things that people need right now. Does that help, Carl? Excellent. Thank you. Other questions? We've got about 13 minutes left. Gabrielle.
I haven't used it much, but what about the Google Meetings now? Because it looks like a lot of education, like the schools and programs are kind of moving to that in our area.
Yeah.
What are some tips?
All the platforms have a lot of features. The thing that I tell anybody with their platform is if it's one you're going to have to present on, double check all the features. Right? And some of them are moving. That's the other thing I said. Watch, because they're moving rapidly. Everybody is innovating very rapidly now. And so I know some people that meet regularly on Google Meets, and they like it, right? The video is good. There's the standard features are there, so they're all key. But when you get into, especially into engagement, that's what I do is if I need to, like, I think I have a potential contract on WebEx. So I need to go back to WebEx and look. I was an early WebEx in like 2001. Remember that? 2001. But it's changed a lot. And so if I was to present on that, I would go through and work a plan. So this is where you get the design hat on saying, here's what I want to do to engage. Here's the goal. Now, what tools are available to me? And most importantly, what tools do I bring in? What I've also told people too, like that Get Productive with Virtual Tools piece, it's picking the right tool, right? For the right problem. And most of all, for the right stage of the group. So even today you saw, like I use the shared document thing. And I've gotten pretty good with 20 people. As you can see, sometimes it gets more challenging as we get to 30 and 40 and 50 people. But it is something that's right on that entry level that demonstrates the point that if people aren't using shared editing here, they're missing out on some value. Because you also see, too, I don't know if you saw it, but sometimes if you get it right, you can get 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people editing at the same time, meaning that you can get a lot of work done very, very quickly. So does that help?
Yeah, what's a good place to start researching some of the platforms, especially if you don't have that technology background?
Oh, there's some comparison sites. And then the other thing is just go to Google Meets. I believe there's some resources. Let's just see if I can pick it up. That will just tell you what the features are. And then the next best thing to do then is go through that feature list and then go through it yourself and just have 2 people, even if it's 2 computers that are close. And just test out the features. I mean, I do that all the time. Speaking of which, here's another feature. How many of you know that you can do multilingual translation in Zoom? Anybody? So in certain versions of this, we're about to possibly hold our first meeting. I could designate Jaga as an interpreter, right? And I think, is the language Malaysian? Is that correct, Jaga? Yes, unmute.
It's called Malay language.
Sorry, say again?
Malay language.
Okay, great. So we can assign you as an interpreter for that language. And so once he becomes an interpreter, right, somebody can come in. So Carl can come in and say, oh, okay, I dropped into the Zoom meeting. And now at the bottom, you have a language option, right? You can choose English or you can choose, Jaga's language. And there could be more than one. And so we're hoping to see that. So you basically have a UN meeting, right? UN-style meeting with that. So with no headsets, though, right? You just choose the audio that you want to hear. And those are that's why Zoom is kind of ahead. It's got an amazing set of features, and even I've been running on it for 4 or 5 years, and I still don't think I've seen every feature of Zoom yet. Anyways, there you go.
John,
Carl.
is Zoom doing that live? Is that a live translation and captioning?
Yeah, it's a human. It's a human, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
we're using. You can assign a human to be a live transcript translator, and to me, it's better because I mean the transcription is okay, but as you can see, it's only 80 to 90% correct. Even in foreign languages, I've asked other people, and they said it's pretty good. It's enough to like be enticing or be useful. But if you are in a high-value meeting, you want an interpreter, and also an interpreter can interpret back for you. So you can ask your interpreter, say, "Could you please ask this question to blah blah blah," and the interpreter can come back and interact or find a way to get that question to the speaker. So, yeah, until we get perfect interpretation, we'll have humans.
John, just like to find out, John, the slides that you showed just now, it had an auto caption there. Is that a feature within Microsoft or what?
Yeah. Do you want to see where it is?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll see where it is. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. So it's here. If you can see my screen, this is slideshow. And on the far right, it says always use subtitles. Now, somebody tell me a language other than English.
Well, what other language? Do you have something called Bahasa Indonesia?
Farsi? Did you want?
No, let me see. Yeah, that Malay. Yeah, the one below that.
Did I get it right?
No, the one below that.
Sorry.
MALAY.
Malay. Oh, Malay, right here. Okay, great. So now if I do this. Well, hello, everybody. It's so great to be able to talk to everybody in Malaysia today. Hold on. It's listening. Let's see. I'm waiting for my captions to catch up with me. Let's see how long this takes. This is the best tech. Oh, there we go. This is the best tech demo that I've ever given. There's nothing but love for the people who make and create and play games. How'd I do, Jaga?
All right, that's hilarious.
I'm telling you, it's like I did a class like this for 35 people from Saudi Arabia, and so I put Arabic on there. All right, and I checked, and they said, well, they're all English speakers, and I just did it as a favor to them, and again, as an attraction factor, again, they were mesmerized for at least 20 minutes, looking at it, going, is it any good? And for some of them, it was a help, right? Because it helped explain the concept when they're saying. So the combination of the two allowed them to gain understanding and comprehension. So important.
Okay. So that's a feature within 365, is it?
Yeah, I believe so, because I had some last people that said they bought the last copy, like 2016, and they're like, it's not there. So I do believe it's Office 365. That's what I'm currently using. I do get the subscriptions, the updates. The terabyte of OneDrive is, I can tell you, can I tell you a funny laptop story?
Right.
So how many of you using a OneDrive or something like some kind of cloud storage? Yeah, Carl says yes. Okay, yeah, good. Sorry. It's Tegan. Tegan and Zoe said yes. Rose says yes. Okay. For those who are not, right? Yeah. Thank you, Amy. So those who are not, you're dancing with the devil. You're waiting for a disaster to happen. Because here's what happened. I presented for the National Park Service in a park in Santa Monica Mountains. It was beautiful. And somebody helped me with my laptop, right? So and carry a bunch of my gear out. So I packed up my rental car, and then I drove to my hotel. So I go to my hotel and I open my backpack, and I'm going to put my laptop back up to do some work. And I look in there, and it's like, it's not in the slot in the backpack. And I'm like, oh, where is my laptop? Search the car, no laptop, right? Drove back to the site. The gate is already closed. I'm like, oh, I have to walk 1.5 miles to try and go back and see if I can locate this laptop. I think it's too far. I'll come in there early in the morning. So anyways, I came back at 6 in the morning when the park opened, and I'm walking around. I get there early. I'm walking around. Where's the laptop? And the ranger sees me from National Park Service. He goes, you looking for a laptop? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't. Somebody helped me with it. I left here today, and I can't figure out where it is. He goes, here it is. there's a tire track all the way across the laptop. And I have to go to Taiwan right after this trip. I have a 1 day home, and I'm going, oh. And so, yeah, I tried to boot it, did not work. And but here's the genius of it. Again, my email's in a cloud, and then all my files are on a OneDrive. And all I did was I went to Costco. I bought this beautiful new laptop. I opened it up and then connected the OneDrive to my account. It starts doing a massive amount of download. And basically, I was ready to go to fly the next day to Taiwan. So that's the benefit for all of you who are doing that. If you're prepared, you can take a shotgun, shoot a hole in your computer, and have another one back up by tomorrow. And that is a godsend for me. Okay. All right. Final questions? I'm going to do something really nice. Zoe also donated her time here today. So if you have nice words to tell Zoe, we'll spend the last piece here doing kudos to Zoe and other people in NASAGA. I have about 3 minutes left for this. So just raise your hand, and if you have someone that you would like to thank today. Zoe, they're hitting the chat room too. There we go. Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, Jaga, thanks for running our breakout rooms. John, I really appreciate you pulling this all together. And as long as we're on the subject of background, Zoe, awesome background. Awesome showing.
Show them the stormtroopers. Come on. You got to show the stormtrooper now. She's got one of the most extensive stormtrooper collection I've ever seen.
That's what was so awesome.
Excellent. Anybody else? I'll take 2 more. Go ahead, Arul John, I think.
Yes, I just want to thank specifically for Jaga, because if it's not for Jaga, I would not be into this program. So thanks a lot, Jaga. Looking forward from NASAGA next year.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, Arul, before you take off, that's also one of the most impressive bookshelves. Will you do us a favor? Randomly pull a book and tell us the title of the book. We'll see if he heard me. Okay, who else? Anybody else? Last kudos. There we go. Oh, it's Himani. Yes.
Okay, I have an interesting story to tell.
Okay.
Actually, I woke up yesterday morning. I had a time zone glitch, and I was all set because it's right now. The time was 4:30 in the morning, so I woke up at 4 o'clock. And yesterday I was all set, and I realized it's not there today. But I'm glad I connected today. So really had a lot of fun, and I was in NASAGA 2016, so I got to see some familiar faces over here. So great to see you all. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's give one more round of applause to Jaga and the whole NASAGA team that made this happen. Excellent.
So Himani,
and so,
I guess you were the one, because I saw that notification. Somebody was waiting. So I thought somebody people go and just check. They want to check their connection. So you were literally waiting.
Excellent. All right. Well, I have to head off tonight. It's that time here in America to eat dinner. Jaga, thanks again.
Thank you very much, John. I mean, you've been very gracious to help us all. Thank you so much. A lot of great tips. We'll keep in touch then.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Right.
See you at level 2.